वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So, just two comments because I got some feedback, so it's very important to understand things correctly. When we talk about Dharma, Dharma is, a part of, as I showed yesterday, some of you were not there, there are three different aspects of Dharma when Upanishads talk about Dharma. One is Samanya Dharma, which is universal ethical values. The other one is Swadharma, which is your personal duties and responsibilities towards people that you are related to and also towards a society. And the third is Loka Sangraha, where you actually make an effort to become a contributor in the society. And I think there are few people somehow who told me, I don't know, this so-called Mother Teresa or whatever, that the whole idea that the people carry for Dharma is, and which they reject, which is true, that when you help others and you sacrifice yourself, then that is not good. And that's correct, right? But you can't then say that then therefore you don't help. That's a very convoluted way of looking at things. Please keep in mind, because for Vedanta you need to have clarity of thinking. Okay? It is true that when you help others, you don't necessarily need to sacrifice yourself. But it doesn't mean that every time you help somebody else, you're always sacrificing yourself. It's not true. You can help others out of fullness. If you're helping and if there is sense of sacrifice in you, then that is unhealthy, because that sense of sacrifice will what? Increase your dissatisfaction, and one day you will explode. It's true, right? But as a result, if you use a logic, therefore I should only take care of myself and not help others, you are going against Dharma. Very important. Upanishads are subtle. Okay? This kind of convoluted thinking can lead to a lot of destruction and impediment to your growth. Because it kind of validates your selfishness and says it's good to be selfish, and every time I help others, it is going to be a sacrifice for me. This is a wrong message. A world is far more nuanced, so you always have to be careful about your ideas. The ideas that you carry within yourself have to be refined, because Vedanta is refined. Our teacher very nicely explains this whole idea, which is an important idea. What he says is that every relationship has a boundary. There's a boundary in the sense that when that other person violates your basic rights, you have to put a stop to it. That's very important in any relationship. Okay? In the name of caring and compassion, if you let people abuse you, that is wrong, because you also have responsibility towards yourself. That's very important. Guarding that place that you have and not letting others abuse you is a very important part of Dharma. Okay? But then to say that if I extend my help to somebody else, I'm always going to be what? Sacrificing. That is not true. Every small inconvenience seems like a sacrifice, and you don't want to do anything for anyone else. You're becoming an extremely selfish, self-centered human being, and that person is not ready for Vedanta. Okay? Boundaries are important. You don't let anybody abuse you. But at the same time, extending yourself, you grow as an individual. You get grace. This is the traditional Vedanta. The more you become bigger and you define your objectives not only from a narrow perspective but from a larger perspective, you enrich yourself. This is the vision of Vedanta. You're not doing a selfless service. You are interested in your well-being, but your well-being is defined by well-being of others. It's a very evolved idea. You become bigger, you become happier, and the universe rewards you for all the noble acts that you have done. This is how Dharma is. This is how people gain punya. And punya is very much necessary to first come to Vedanta and second to succeed in the pursuit of Vedanta. Extremely important. You can't bypass Dharma. Don't depreciate Dharma. This whole thing of, I'm interested in moksha and therefore Dharma is something inferior, it's a dangerous idea to have. Yes, Dharma will not get me the ultimate fulfillment that I am searching for is a reality. It's true. Therefore, Dharma is not important is a big mistake. Big mistake. Okay. Yes, Artha will not get me what I am searching for. Therefore, Artha is useless. Mistake. We have so many therefores which create such a wrong understanding of what Vedanta is. Vedanta makes a statement of fact and you add your therefores and you use wrong logic and you get convinced by ideas which keep you away from truth. Yes, Kama will not get me the ultimate fulfillment, but therefore I should never engage in anything entertaining. It's a problem. Every pursuit has its own place. Artha has its place. That's why Indian culture, what? We worship Lakshmi. We don't have any problem. There is a worship of Lakshmi because Lakshmi is a resource. You don't reject it, but you ask for help so that you can use it wisely. That is maturity. Okay? You don't deny the world, you put everything in perspective. That is when you get your freedom. Okay? So Artha, Dharma and Kama, it seems as though we've listened to this hundreds of times, but what we understand sometimes is so different from what the intention of Vedanta is. We get into ideas, pet ideas, without really analyzing it accurately. The human mind is incredible. It creates distortions in understanding. We think we understand, but how much we don't understand, we don't see. So therefore, helping is good, but helping not where you kind of, helping is very important part, giving is a very important part of growing. But that you let somebody abuse you is a problem. That you have to stop.
I heard a teacher saying, the world as it is perfect. It needs not to be fixed.
Okay.
Is
this is not really what we say. Yes, world as it is perfect in the sense that there is a cause and effect relationship. Right? So there is a cause and effect relationship, so therefore things that are here right now have a cause. They are not just random. Right? But that doesn't mean you don't need to fix it, because if the causes are distorted, let's say your own psychology, right? You are feeling sad now because there is a cause. So therefore everything is according to the cause and effect relationship. But you can't use that logic to say, therefore my sadness is perfect and I don't want to do anything about it. That's a convoluted logic. It keeps you from making effort to do things. You are given that buddhi to intervene intelligently. Because the past causes could be distorted causes, which is bringing an effect today, which is a distorted effect. So you use your effort to put it back in order. That is your free will. You can't say, because it is following cause and effect relationship, everything is perfect and I just don't need to do anything. That's a wrong way of looking at things.
Maybe a better way to say it's perfect is to say it couldn't be otherwise.
Yes.
It could be otherwise up to now, but if I use my effort, I can make it right better. That is the right perspective. Otherwise you become like a fatalist. And this is the problem with Indian philosophy. People, when they don't understand it correctly, they think, oh, everything is Ishvara, everything is perfect. They get into all these funny ideas. Okay? So therefore, the whole thing, Dharma is an important part. But it may not give you moksha, but it is important. Okay? And you can't denigrate that position of Dharma. So now, let's look at the story. And the story is something which is very interesting. What I want to do is to tell you the story and then make you think about what you understand from this story. Right? Because it's very important. All of you have listened to Vedanta and you feel that, yeah, I know it. And actually, how much is not known is appalling. So therefore, my whole attempt is to really make you think about things that you believe in. And refine all those thinking so that you are in touch with reality. Because my job as a teacher, and you have come long way to come here and to learn, my responsibility is to give you that clarity. So you don't get comfortable in your erroneous ideas. Okay, so therefore, now the story is very nice. Let's look at the story first. Here it is. Om, Kathopanishad. Om, Ushan Havai Vajashravasaha Sarva Vedasam Dadau Tasyaha Nachiketa Nama Putra Asa. Okay, so here I will just read few more sentences. Okay, Saha Uvacha Pitaram Tata Kasmai Mam Dasyasi Iti Dvitiyam Tritiyam Tam Uvacha Mrutyave Tva Dadami Iti. Okay, this is a story of a son and a father. Here there is a father who is doing, as we saw in the Karma Kanda of the Veda, there are all these rituals which are prescribed for different things. So he was doing a very big ritual, and as part of that ritual, and he had son. The son was Nachiketa. Okay. And this father was doing a big ritual, and with every ritual that you do, a very important part is what we call dhanam. Dhanam is giving. Again, giving. Okay? You can't do a ritual and still be all very, you can't do that. Part of growing is learning to give, learning to share. So therefore, he was giving dhanam, and this little boy starts to observe what's happening. He begins to observe, and this is not all here, but it's there. I've just selected a few verses, so I'll tell you the story, even though the sentences are not here. Okay? So, the little boy observes his father, and he sees that the father is giving old cows, old horses. In those days, the wealth was not only in terms of money, cash, but it was also in terms of, the animals and whatever. So he was giving out all these old things that he did not want. Now the little boy is looking at the father and he says, the spirit of dhanam is not to get rid of things that you don't want. And then to feel, oh, I'm so good, I'm giving up things. You're not giving anything, you're getting rid of things that you don't want. Dhanam means you have value for it, and something that you value, you give to others. You don't give unvaluable things. That is not dhanam, that is getting rid of things. Okay? So he was wondering, he said, why is my father giving all these useless things? An old animal is a liability rather than an asset. So the person who receives that is stuck with an animal who is not able to do anything, and he has to feed them. What kind of dhanam is this? The boy also understands that the person who does dhanam like that, this is called tamasic dhanam. The dhanam giving is divided into tamas, rajas and sattvic. You can't say all dhanam, you can't put all giving in one category. When it is given with this whole idea of getting rid of things under the pretext of help, that is tamasic. When you give, but your whole thing is, how do I appear as somebody who's philanthropist or who my name and my fame, that is rajasic. It doesn't say it's bad, it just says that it's rajasic. Please don't create categories of good and bad. Vedas don't have these categories. They have different kind of looking at things. Then you have a sattvic dhanam. What is a sattvic dhanam? You give to the person who deserves it, and who is at the center, not you, but the other person. That is sattvic dhanam. You do what needs to be done. A situation has arisen, the person is in front of you, the person is in need, and you do what you can do. That is what we call sattvic. Okay? Now, according to this boy, the dhanam that his father was doing was a tamasic dhanam. And he says, when you do an action like that, what is the result? Do you think that even though it's an act of giving, do you think it's a good act in the laws, according to the laws? Not really. So he's worried, the boy is worried about what the result, he's doing it as a big ritual, but what kind of result is he going to get for this ritual when he's not really doing it in the right spirit? Now here, Adi Shankaracharya is even more nuanced. He writes in his commentaries that we don't know why his father was giving these old animals, because he had initially first exhausted everything that he had, and now he was only left with this, or, right, he kept all the good things for him and gave bad things. We don't know. We don't know. So you can't necessarily say the father was not good. You can't make these statements because we don't have information why he was doing what he was doing. This is how a mind has to work. Non-judgmental. Okay? So therefore, but for whatever reason, right, he was giving all these old things. Now, the little boy thought to himself that, yes, maybe he has exhausted everything, but I'm still there. So if he gives me, I can be of much more help than these old cows and old horses. So he goes up to his father and he says, to whom are you giving me? He doesn't say, Father, you are a fool. He doesn't say, what kind of dhanam is this? This is useless, what you are doing. And you know what will be the consequences? It will be useless for you. He doesn't do that. What does? Subtlety. Father, who will you give me to? I can be of much more help than all these useless things that you are giving to the other person. He goes once, the father shoos him away. He cannot stand. He goes again and he says, Father, who will you give me to? I'm still there. You don't need to give useless things. The father, second time he goes, father shuns him away. The third time he goes, the father is angry. And the father says, I will give you to Mrityu. Mrityu means Lord Yama. My God. Okay. Dvitiyam Tritiyam Hovacha. Then he says, Mrityave Tam Dadami. I will give you to Mrityu. Okay. Now, the thing is, the little boy is all ready to go to Lord Yama. Mrityu means what? When you leave this body, you are taken. Right? Now the boy wants to go. The father says, no, where are you going? And he says, now you have told me to go to Mrityu, I will go to Mrityu. The father is dying with guilt. What words? What words he gave just impulsively, because he was irritating, he just said, now I'll give you to Mrityu. The boy says, now your words are something, I have to make it right. Okay. The boy says, I'm going to Mrityu. The father is destroyed. Father is just, he tries to convince him and he says, you know what? The words, he teaches his father very subtly. He says the words that we give out are not just flimsy words. Mean what you say. Don't say things impulsively and then you regret later, oh, why did I say that? In most of the relationships, where is the biggest problem? In that moment, you say things, right, which hurt, and then what? You feel, oh my God, I should never have said that. But that hurt that you have created in the other person is at times irreparable. The person suffers from the power of those words for years together. Okay? So he's teaching his father that first, not be impulsive, but once you have said something, try as much as possible to honor what you have said. Don't speak lightly. So now the boy goes to Lord Yama. And what is the attitude of boy? The boy's attitude is, oh, poor me, my father has rejected me, he has sent me to Lord Yama. He's not cribbing. He's brave. He's going. He's making use of that opportunity to meet Lord Yama. Right? These childhood problems of, oh me, what have I suffered, and that this little boy didn't have. He goes to Lord Yama, and when he reaches Lord Yama, this is a story. Okay? Lord Yama was not there. He was out on his mission of getting. Right? So therefore he was not there. So now he wants to be noticed by Lord Yama. He wants to enter into a conversation with Lord Yama. It's not easy to enter into conversation. So he comes up with an idea. He says, if I go there, I'm a little boy, and if I don't eat anything, and if I don't drink anything, then Lord Yama maybe will notice. Somebody will go and say that there is this little boy who has come to meet you and he's not eaten anything and he is not, So then maybe he will get an audience with Lord Yama. So he sits there, not eating, not drinking. He says, I will wait for your Lama to come back and I want to speak to him. When Lord Yama comes back, okay, so here he says, the verse says, Tisraha ratrihi yavat asi gruhe me anashnan brahman atithihi ananasya namastetu brahman swasti me astu tasmat prati tri varan purneshva. Okay. Now this is Lord Yama talking. Lord Yama comes back. Lord Yama comes back. All the people, his attendants, immediately go to him and they say, there is this little boy who has come to see you and he's refusing to eat, he's refusing to drink, he's just waiting for you and he wants to see you. What do you think would be Lord Rama's response? Lord Yama is a big guy and this boy is a little boy. He could have just ignored and he said, yeah, so what? Let him do whatever he wants. It's beautiful. The dialogue is beautiful. Lord Yama immediately goes to that little boy. Immediately. And he says that you have stayed in my home for 3 nights without eating and drinking. And he says that any atithi is guest. Any guest comes to your home and if that person goes hungry and thirsty and you've not taken care of that person, okay, this is a huge papa. So Lord Yama says, if you have come to my place and you're a Brahmana, and if I don't take care of you, I will have a lot of papa of not taking care of this little boy. What is his attitude? He is not acting as some big Lord Yama and this little boy. Lord Yama is very humble towards this boy. And he says that I'm namahante. I'm doing pranam to you because I didn't ask for you, you have come on your own to see me. Your time had not come, but you have come to see me. Okay, and now for this, to counteract this effect that I will have, I will give you 3 boons. Okay, choose 3 things as you want, so that I am released from this, the papa that I will accrue of not welcoming a guest in my home. So now this little boy gets an opportunity to ask for 3 things. Now what you ask for shows what you value. Imagine now Lord Krishna comes and says, ask for 3 things and I'll give you what you want. What will you ask? Important question. What will you ask? This little boy. What will you ask? Gabi has an answer. Okay.
Clarity.
Clarity.
I just want to know.
So you are like Nachiketa. So 3 things he needs to ask, but if you ask only for clarity, then it's only one boon. This boy is too smart, he wants to use all 3 boons.
And a good glass of wine afterwards.
Okay, so now he's very clever. He asks for 3 things. Look at him. Okay. So, this is not here, but it is there in the text. I will explain. Then I will read this. Okay. Now the boy asks, the first boon he wants is, look at him. He says, when I go back to see my father, after talking to you, he should be pleased with me and not be angry with me. And right now, he should not, because I know that he's feeling very guilty and he's feeling very sad and he's feeling very bad. Let him be calm. Let him calm down right now, right? And when I go back and see him, then he should accept me. He should not be angry with me. What has he accomplished? In this first boon, what has he accomplished?
He asks for other people.
Excellent. First he's thinking about his father. Instead of saying my father rejecting me and you know how he is and he's sending me to Mrityu, he's actually thinking about welfare of his father. He doesn't want his father to be suffering. He's not indifferent to it. He actually wants to help him. Right? That is the first thing. What is the second thing that you understand from that?
He's interested in the relationship to his father.
Exactly. He's what? Can you speak loudly?
He is interested in the relationship to the father.
Exactly. He's not into this detachment mode. Indifferent mode. He's interested in relating to his father. He's interested in the well-being of his father. This is human. That is being human. What is the third thing he's asking? In one. This is intelligence. Most important thing he's asking is he will go back. He's ensuring that Lord Yama will send him back. When I go and see him, that means he's ensuring I'm not here permanently, I'm going back to my father. After getting all the answers from you, I'm back. Clever. Right? I'm going back, I'm seeing my father. My father right now is free from all the troubles. And then when I go and see him, our relationship is good. In one boon. Second boon. The second boon, he says, I want a ritual that people can perform to get what they are looking for. Right? This boon, what is he asking for through this boon?
Very effective ritual.
Excellent. He's asking for an effective ritual, multi-purpose ritual. Absolutely. What else is asking?
For other people. Service for
Excellent.
other people.
Excellent. He has in mind the well-being of other people. This is important part of growing. This is Vedic way of growing. Okay? So that means he has in his mind well-being of many, many people in the present and in the future. Not just his father and his family, but well-being of many. Okay? So he's asking for something which is efficient for many, many people, which will help. That is the second thing that he's asking for. Then he says, the third thing that I'm asking for is for myself. Right. In your pursuit of yourself, you don't exclude others, you include others. Okay. The third thing which I'm asking for myself is what he says. He asks very beautifully. Let's see what he asks. He says, Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushye asti iti eke na ayam asti iti cha eke. Etat vidyam anushishtaha tvayaham varanam eshaha varaha tritiyaha. Okay. Among varanam eshaha, among the three varas, this is the third boon that I'm asking. Okay. What? That etat vidyam anushishtaha tvayaham. I would like to learn this vidya from you. What is this vidya? Vidya is knowledge. Okay. He says, among human beings, there is a doubt. Look at his question. He doesn't say, teach me this knowledge. Okay. He says, among human beings, there is a doubt. There are some people who think that we exist, vichikitsa means doubt. Some people who think that we exist after death, and some people think that we don't exist after death. So please explain what is the reality. What happens? Who are we? This is a way of asking, who am I? What happens to me? You find yourself on this earth in this form, with this mind, with these skills, with this capacity, and to live your life for 80, 90, 100 years. And then what? This is the question he had. What then? What is my real nature? Okay? And there is always a doubt. Nobody knows exactly what happens. So here he says that I want to know what is my true nature. Now here Adi Shankaracharya in his commentary writes a very important note. He says that the fact that Nachiketa had left the earth and he was already in some other loka and talking to Lord Yama, it means that he knows that the soul, the person survives after the death. So why is he asking this question? He's already somewhere else. He's not on this earth. He's asking a question, what happens to a human being after he leaves this earth, whether he's there or not there. But he already knows he's there. He's left the earth and he knows he's there. So where is this question coming from? What is the nature of this question? What is he really asking? This is Adi Shankaracharya. Nuanced. Okay. Then Adi Shankaracharya replies by saying he already knows he is there. His question is not whether I exist or not. After this earth, he wants to know the reality of what is the nature of I. That's what he's asking. What is real nature of I? That is what he's asking. But his way of presenting it is subtle. He says there is always a doubt. What happens to us, where we go, what is our nature, nobody knows, and you need to tell me what is the reality of myself. Okay? So he says, now Lord Yama is something who is surprised by this little boy. He was not expecting this kind of a question from Nachiketa. He thought that he will ask for, something, give me, long life, lots of kids, lots of, the good health. This is what generally people ask for, right? Nobody asks this kind of question. Tell me what my true nature is, or everybody's true nature is. What happens to a human being after the human being leaves from this earth? Like he was saying, what beyond these roles? What is beyond these roles that I am playing? Okay, so now Lord Yama is trying to discourage him to inquire into these things. So here he's he's telling him, here he says, interesting, now Lord Yama is talking and he's saying, Deva Devaihi atra api vichikitsam tam pura nahi sugneyam anuhu eshaha dharmaha anyam varam nachiketaha vrunishva mama parotsmi sirati ma srujainam. Okay, he says that even devas, even the other celestial beings are confused with reference to what is the nature of I. Not only people on this earth, but all the other exalted beings that exist in this universe, they also don't know what is the nature of I. So that's too difficult and it's too subtle. It says it is anuhu esha dharmaha. Anu means like a little. Little, exactly. It means that this
Atom.
Atom. Yeah, it means atom. Anu means atom. So that means it's so subtle. Atom is something that can you see? No. It's not something which is immediately evident. So he says it's something which is very subtle. It is too difficult to understand. Most of the people, wherever they are, they don't understand. So Nachiketa, you're too young. And you're not really ready for understanding all these big questions. So here he says, change your tritiya, change the boon, ask for something else. Okay, now he has to wait for Nachiketa to come up with something else. So, to help Nachiketa, what are the possibilities? He starts presenting all the different possibilities that he could ask for. So that means if he is a person who is not really serious about the question, when he presents all these possibilities, what will happen? He'll say, yeah, this is good, I'll choose this. Right? So this is where he starts giving the possibilities. What are the possibilities? Here he says, Shatayushaha. What is Shatayushaha? Putra Pautran Vrunishva. He says you ask for Putra and Pautra, sons and grandsons, but if you have children, but if they are not blessed with long life, it's useless. So he says you can ask for the lives of your sons and grandsons of 100 years. How the whole thing is, everything that we normally desire is all put in short desires, quick sutra desires which encompass many things. You want to have sons, you want to have grandsons and daughters, and then you want to have long life for them. Okay? He says you can choose that. Bahun Pashun Hastihi Hiranya Ashwan. You can also ask me for Bahun Pashun. You can ask me for lots of different cattle. You can ask for elephants, you can ask for gold, you can ask for horses, all these different forms of wealth. Okay? In today's society, you can ask for cash, you can ask for real estate, you can ask for stocks, you can ask for any form of wealth that you want to have. Okay? Here he says, Bhumehe Mahat Ayatanam Vrunishva. Okay? So choose a vast kingdom on this earth. Swayam cha jivaha sharadaha yavat itchasi. And you can live as long as you want. All these things you can ask me. Okay? Etat tulyam yadi manyase varam vrunishva vittam chira jivikacha. If you think that what I'm offering you is not good and you want to be creative and you want to ask for something, you can ask that, okay? And you can also Mahabhumau Nachiketaha Tvema Edhi Kamanam Tvam Kamabhaja Karomi. Okay? You will become an emperor on this earth. I will make you the enjoyer of all the different pleasures. Okay? So here he says, Ye ye kamaha durlabha martyaloke. There are many pleasures which are available on this earth, but there are some pleasures which are not even available on this earth, and I will make them possible for you. Okay? Sarvan kaman ichchataha prarthayasva. Anything that you can think of, you can ask. Imaha ramaha sarathaha saturyaha na hridisha labhyaniya manushyehi. Okay? All these musics, vehicles, women, celestial women, everything which cannot be found on this earth by human being, they will be all gifted by me to you. Okay? So here he says, Abhi mat pratabihi paricharayasva nachiketaha maranam mam anuprakshi. But please do not ask about the question that you had asked, which is, what is the nature of I? Okay? He presents all these possibilities. Okay? And now, if we were there, anybody who's there, then what would happen?
Think twice.
Think twice, exactly. Right? So that means you think that you are given with all these possibilities which sound so wonderful and which are so much more than what we generally get, and then we get tempted. Right? And this is exactly, somebody may not come in front of us and ask us to choose, but we make our own choices about how we use our time. What do we do in life? So any good job comes and then moksha is, now I'm enjoying life. So now moksha can go back. Any money comes, then, oh yeah, that is great. Stock market, let me just invest a little bit more. So that means we human beings with our assessment get tempted by so many things which seem so important to us, and then that our mind is naturally drawn to them and we forget the big thing, big picture. So therefore, if for Vedanta you need to have what?
Determination.
Determination. Proper understanding of what is it that you're looking for. Because life can present so many opportunities. You think that obstacles, but sometimes even opportunities, good events can take you away. Mostly people come to Vedanta to get rid of all their sadness and all their things, you know. So, but when they are happy, who cares about Vedanta, right? So, so this is what it says, that, hey, put it in perspective, that something which is the important thing in life, don't give it up for something small. Okay. Now, our teacher used to give an example, and he says that if somebody comes and tells you that I'm going to give you the whole nation as a gift, you say, no, I only want that little village in which I'm living. Because you can't look beyond that village. And that is something which is your comfort zone. Anything beyond that is just too much. So he says, if the possibility for you to get the nation is there, and you use your free will to choose that little village, is it a wise choice? It's not a wise choice. By your own free will, you're denying the maximum possible and you are settling for something which is so small, but in your vision that small is big. Okay, so therefore what he's saying is all these different possibilities, that is very good, and most of the people are searching for this. Even if you get that in huge magnitudes, still it cannot satisfy. That is the reality. It's a fact. Why is it a fact? Because you have concluded, I am this little tiny individual in this vast universe. With that positioning of that little dot, if I ask you, where do you figure in the map of the universe? Give yourself a place in the map of the universe. Even our earth will have it has an insignificant place. Within that earth, what? Europe continent itself is a small continent compared to right? Within that continent of Europe, your country Germany, even though after integration it's bigger, but still one among many. Even though it's important economic power, but it's still small. Within that, your town where you live. Within that town, your own house. Within that house, your own particular bedroom. Within that bedroom, your own particular, this space that you occupy right now. If this is what you think you are, and this is your ultimate reality, the universe in which you find yourself is infinitely big and it's frightening. It cannot be but frightening. Because what is your power over the forces of the nature? What is your power over forces of nature? Things can change like this. Small thing I noticed when we were in south of France and we were swimming very nicely and everybody was enjoying in the sea, in the Mediterranean and all that. And all of a sudden they saw one jellyfish, little creature, jellyfish. And it creates such a havoc. Everybody is out, they call the guards, coastal guards, and the coastal guard comes and the whole thing, the whole enjoyment is totally disturbed by the presence of the size of that much of an animal. Fragile. You worked so hard to go to Mediterranean for a holiday and now what? You can't swim because you have this little creature disturbing you. This is life. You work so hard to put everything in place, but one thing happens which goes a little off and you are done. So here it says that with this understanding of who you are, there is no way. Even if at present you find every variable working nicely, anything can change anytime. And even if they have not changed, the possibility of them changing will keep you what? Always anxious. Always stressed. Because you don't know what tomorrow is going to be like. Okay? So therefore, retaining this identity and getting many things, it seems like a big thing, but it is, if you understand the totality, it is insignificant. Okay? And Nachiketa is the person who sees the totality of things. He's not tempted by any of these. And he's not like a little boy who just, like, you know, how sometimes you say, I want only this, and like a child, I want only this toy and I don't want any other toy. And the mother is trying to convince, but this toy is better, this is, you know, but no, I want only this. He's not like that. He's saying, I'm choosing this, and he's also saying that why I'm choosing what I'm choosing. He's giving reasons that why I don't want any of your offering and I stick to what I want. He gives reason. He gives reason. Now it's 1:05. Can we see that quickly or not?
Because of the other group.
Because of the other group,
Okay.
otherwise.
So otherwise anyway. Okay. So we will do it maybe in the evening if we have some time, because this is just a part of the story. Right? So we can do in the evening if you don't have too many questions, because now hopefully you won't have that many questions. In the story, I hope, right? So we'll do a little bit of this in the night, and then afternoon we'll do a model. Okay? And the model is all about success, what we are looking for in life, but it's put in a modern context, so you will see. It's an interesting kind of thing with modern psychology, and it's interesting. Okay? So we'll see that in the afternoon.
And which time?
I will just finish with the prayer, then we will. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.